gentlemen, once again coming to you live from couches, someone's chair, our chairs, Rogan Ash chair, Dolphin's basement. We don't really know, but we are coming to you live yet again with some more Highlander action. I am here with Dolphin on production, along with Rogue as my other caster tonight. Brother, how you doing this evening?
Good, Jamon. Always happy to be here. Happy to be by your side, and really looking forward to my favorite map. We've got a real barn burner here. It's always a fun one here on Steel, and for both of these teams too, we're looking at teams that are at least right now situated on like the middle to lower end of the playoff bracket here, or the playoff contention main season, I should say. This is sort of where you have to prove your mettle. Every win here gives you one step closer to playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Dude, and the thing that's crazy is with Steel, a lot of people love Steel. I hate it. I'm a Steel hater. I'm gonna be looking at this map with disgust every time, just because of all the stuff that can happen. Someone can be faster than you, play against a top team, and if you're really good at Steel, you could be dominating. You know what I'm saying? But regardless of that fact, it is going to be exciting to see just exactly how these two both of these teams are looking to favor against one another. I'm pretty excited for this tonight.
Yeah, maybe we'll read off one of these rosters here. Maybe I'll take the Imposters side. So on the Imposters, we got Pre-Alpha playing Scout, Wise on Soldier, Inquisition playing Pyro, Untamed on Demo, Deleted Taters Heavy, Starfruit 66 on Engineer, Ben, someone I love working with over there on Medic, Tazam on Sniper, and Aimbot running it out on Spy.
And with Mr. Warabi's Corporation, we have Average on Scout, Sawala on Soldier, Dope on Pyro, Fuzz on Demo, Boy on Heavy, Brand Molvik on Engineer, Mandir on Medic, Whalmar on Sniper, with Flu Walrus on Spy. Oh my goodness. We can't, after coming from last week, just seeing this team and how they were executing themselves, man. I'm wondering how exactly Imposters is gonna keep up, man. It's looking. I want to say it's gonna be close, but my heart's telling me something different, Rogue. It's always telling me something different, man.
Yeah, it's always like you can look at these teams on paper, sure, but you do almost have to not throw it out the window for Steel, but you have to sort of think in a new way. I know, for example, classically, the Spanish Inquisition there on Pyro for the Imposters is a very cerebral kind of player in the way that they're always doing map reviews, demo reviews, like ideating what is our approach to the map, what should we do if they do that. So I think the Imposters are kind of uniquely fine-tuned for a map like this that's very strategy heavy. But on the other side, the Mr. Warabi Corporation has been playing crazy. We saw a strong performance out of them just last week on Upward. And they really they sort of remade their team, right? They had mentioned, I think, after the match that, they had a lot of roster changes, basically leading up to last week. So now they've gotten even more time to iron out that chemistry. They have a win under their belts with this roster. So, I know Mr. Warabi is looking to make a strong statement coming into this match.
One thing that's going to be interesting. One thing that's not going to be interesting is me going to say, let that sink in every time Inquisition makes some type of play, because that's just sink. Let that sink in, respectfully. But one thing that's going to be really interesting is Steel Week. One thing that I have noticed, well, whether it's playing Steel, whether it's watching Steel games, is that you really can't upset people on here if you are effectively playing Steel. There's some people in Invite who have played Steel who have never lost a Steel Week. They probably have lost every other map, but they have never lost a Steel Week. They are a champion of Steel. I feel I'm trying to think if Exile is one of those people along that line. But regardless, especially Rogue, you can see some insane upsets on a map like this. On a map like Steel, I'm still gonna hate this map with a passion. But if a team is fast enough, if they're quick enough, if they're working together in sync, no pun intended, it can be nasty. It can be insane work. But that all depends on how we're gonna see both of these teams move tonight, man. Especially within the first minute or two.
That's right. I might take just a second. I'm kind of crashing here on my joining STV, but regardless, I'm kind of curious to see, like, for these teams, you know, we even as we look at the heads, like, you know, we saw some like pretty solid play out of Talzamont Sniper and some great plays out of Whale Mart. Like, you know, Whale Mart is such a fun player to watch on Sniper, I think. But here it's like Sniper's kind of mitigated, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's only so many opportunities for them to only so many opportunities basically for them to find those sight lines. But like at the same time, if you're a sniper who can find impact here on steel, that makes you not just very good but fantastic, right? So yeah, I'm super excited basically with the kind of outfit we have here from both of these teams, like to not just play well individually but to find the wins for each of the players.
It's gonna be interesting, or not even interesting, dude. It's gonna be kind of wild to see exactly, because I'm gonna be that guy. I'm trying to see some upsets. I'm trying to see the underdog take over the over. I'm trying to see the underdog player be the big dub here. But respectfully, whew, we some of us know how this could go down. But Steel is just such a map for me that I mean I've already talked about the disdain for this map, man. But Steel is such a map for me to where, you know, if I'm playing it, I should also mention playing from demo. It just makes me sad. Other demos, it's the feast. You got all these choky corners. You can just shoot stickies at these little corners. Oh my gosh, 800 DPM, 1,000 DPM, 10,000 DPM. But when you don't know what to do, and you're like, oh, we're on B point. How do I push B to C? What's my stance? What's my positioning? How should I sync up a play? What should we do? Should we pressure A? There's a lot of stuff you can do on this map. But one thing that's going to be really interesting is I have not seen, not interesting, but I have not seen any team play. Excuse me, I haven't seen any team so far from Highland from this season play on a steel week. I've at least watched I've at least watched scrims from various maps. Even during preseason, I was looking at a couple of teams, but during the actual season or during scrims, I did not take the liberty to look at any sort of steel game, steel scrim to see how they fared, because I just wanted it to be a surprise. I wanted to look at this and have no bias, especially because if I'm looking at the scrims rogue, I would have had a strong bias. You know what I'm saying? It would have been a crazy bias. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's fun going in blind, you know. We just have to kind of trust ourselves, you know, go with your gut here. And I mean, I think that's what makes it more fun here too, even on steel in particular, that like, yeah, it really is like so to anyone's game, right? You know, we can spend all this time saying like, oh, these players are, you know, we expect this play out of them, or this player should or shouldn't go off, and then suddenly someone pushes A to E in, you know, 1 minute and 40 seconds, and it's like, well, all that analysis flies right out the window, but in the best way, right? Like now again, you got to adjust, you got to adapt to hit him back with that one. I am looking forward to, like, I know, so I've worked actually, I mentioned with actually both of these medics, Van Deer and Ben, and what's so fun for me is like, you know, there's types of medics who are very much like a soldier, like who will do everything their team tells them to do, right? Someone like Fleeble, you think like, or someone like Blake, it's like they're always doing the right thing in the right position. Their team says walk, they walk. But for Van Deer and Ben, I would say they're both very different. They have that fire under them, like got that dog in them, where both of them are very sharp to find a play of like, ooh, should we use Uber here? Should we not? I'm going to make a play. I'm going to make the call. I'm going to get us at least something out of these plays. So I think that's what makes it really interesting on a map like this, that, you know, sort of the whole team is firing on all cylinders, right? Where everyone's capable of finding those types of openings. But hey, maybe then in that case, you might have sort of like too many cooks in the kitchen. Like if they just focus and listen to their demo, then maybe they are better off for it. So at the very least, we're not going to have a boring game on our hands.
Dude, it's like, see, because my whole thing about this too is when talking about both these teams, especially with the Imposters and Mr. Warabi, is that I feel that it's going to be a situation. I say a situation, but I feel like it's going to be a situation to where we're just seeing a lot of fast-paced. We're just seeing all the fast-paced plays from Mr. Warabi, but Warabi Corporation, the corporation team. I feel like it's going to be the case where we are starting to see a lot of momentum from the corporation team, and I just kind of want to see how the Imposters is going to anticipate a lot of their plays. You know, there's a lot of key players on the Imposters too that, you know, I'm kind of going to be keeping my eye out for, even maybe even a couple weeks ago when we first, because I want to say we watched them when they played. Oh my gosh, my brain. Viaduct, maybe Product is what I want to say is when we watched them. I think they played against the guy, the bread team. But along that line, there's still going to be some key players I'm going to be looking at, especially on this kind of map. You know, I'll probably be looking more along the side of Untamed and Toss them to see exactly where that synergy is kind of going between the two. But like you said, sniper's not kind of as insane as it could. Sniper is still insane as general, but it's not as insane as it could be. Versus like on a map like Product, or on the upper or on map like Upward, like we saw from last week, or on a map like Product as well. There's a lot of stuff you kind of have to do or wait for your team to kind of initiate. But regardless of that fact, or what do they call, like an execution player type ordeal. But regardless of that fact, I'm excited to kind of just see what sort of anticipation or what kind of plays are they going to anticipate from the side of Imposters. Like, how are they going to anticipate the corporation team? Are they going to anticipate it well, or is it going to kind of be something where they get eaten by the death ball and then it's just GG from there? And it's really interesting to see how the heads will play up. But one other stat, it's kind of useless, kind of silly stat. I'm gonna be looking at the scout v scout. I need to see my scout v scout. You never know. It could be nasty. Pre-alpha versus average could absolutely be nasty. Rogue, you never know how it could go.
Yeah, and it's so fun. Like you mentioned, I think both these players we've seen, like, have been, at least for me, really solid in their play so far. Like on the payload maps, I think we've seen them on. But in any case, this is where you have that opportunity to shine, or even if you just hold it down, like if your scout goes 20 and 10, it's like, well, great, we have picks to work with and our team can call around it. Or maybe if you're a scout on defense or scout on offense, like pushing B or holding B, you can make or break that point too, right? Like if you can stave off a level 3 engineer, like you would team up with your soldier, give him the business and shut him down early, your team's sitting pretty on B. Or if you're trying to push in, like, in lobby, get behind, suddenly you win that 1v2 and it's like, oh my God, the enemy team is in shambles right now. So yeah, these plays, it's like, if you're here to win, then you get the immediate payoff on like the grand scale, not just on the scoreboard.
Thing I forgot to mention too is that I still have I was recording the demo and I have Peter Griffin as the heavy in my game right now, bro. So I don't know how I'm gonna I don't know how I'm gonna react to this, dude. Oh my God. But no, Rogue, one question I did want to ask though is when it comes to both of these teams, especially on a set like Steel, what is something that's gonna be that you think Imposters will have to do to kind of overcome the barrier of like trying to even overcome the thought of being on the board? Like, and because I'm thinking what some people think is, some people could think potentially it could be a role. You never know. It's just how it is. But what do you think we're gonna have to see for them to really kind of engage the way they need to do? Like, what are some tactics? What are some plays in your POV that you're like, if Imposters really wants to take this seriously, if they really want to put themselves on the board, these are some of the actions that they have to go about.
Yeah, that's a great question. Like, let's think, if I were the coach of the Imposters, what do I see as being their sort of win condition? Let me think. So I am curious sort of what sort of homework they've put into this one, right? Maybe they have a couple set plays, or maybe they really fleshed out one of their holds, for example. Maybe they like really drill down that B hold and they're going to get, consistently 2.5, 3.5, maybe 4.5 minutes on that point. That could be interesting. You know what I think I would like to see out of them actually is almost a like full commit death ball style play. Because I think the Imposter sometimes gets almost lost in the weeds, right? Of like, the difference between what the right play should be versus let's make the best of our current situation. So I think if the Imposters are able to like stay focused, say, yep, we wrote a playbook. It's not going to actually happen that way perfectly every time. So let's just go in together as a group, 3, 2, 1, all 9 of us rush in. I think actually the Imposters will see a lot of success there. Really, like, I would hate to see, let's say they get B and then they're trying to figure out whether to go, like, who to send where for, splitting the push. Our flankers should go D and we get 1 or 2 cappers on E while our combo is pressuring from Wishbone or Slow Door or whatever. Like, I think that'll almost overcomplicate things. If the Imposters are able to super simply say, like, we got B, all 9 players push C together, let's go. I think they're actually going to see a lot of success, like a lot of big failures, but big successes, again, rather than a slow, painful death.
I think in a situation like, especially since we're talking about the grand scheme of the grand play of invite, do you think in a world, do you think like something like a simple A to E, because I'm getting asked about it, like a simple, like, let's say they do an A to E play, have to lock it down, do you think a A to E play would be something that in I'm not going to say capable of, but do you think it's something that we could definitely see this game? Do you think we could see something as confident, as dominant as that? You know, cheeky little play, hold it down, keep them from even contesting the point whatsoever, bro.
Ooh, you know what? I actually think number one, like if you're the underdog, it's kind of tempting to say like, oh, let's just play our own game and focus on our own stuff. But like, if you're already again the underdog here, then that's more of an uphill battle. So these gimmicks open up the round for you in a more like high reward sort of way. So I do hope to see it. Second of all, it's actually like, you know, in terms of winning a best of three, let's say there's a world where you go for that A to E immediately right away, and it does work, then like, oh my god, that's great. We now are almost guaranteed to win the round. Let's say it doesn't work. Number one, like you kind of have plenty of time, like you can adjust and go back to your regular push later. Second, you kind of can learn what maybe worked about it or didn't work about it. Because if maybe in the second round or the third round you're forced into going A to E, now you've already gotten like, you've kind of, what do you call it, like stick checked your opponent, right? Like you just kind of ran out that play, see what it might feel like and what the response is, so you can kind of counter that. So I actually think there's a lot of benefits basically to not just going for the A to E play in general on a map like this, but to do it early and then have it to fall back on later as a second go will work really well, I think.
And like I said, dude, I keep trying to talk about like how exactly I want to see imposters really rule, because both of what you're talking about is pretty solid. Like in terms of them taking like the whole aggressive death ball approach, I think something like that could definitely it could flourish for sure. I do think corporation is something that I do think corporation. You know, if that's something that they think they're going to do, it could be something that they anticipate. But no, just like how you are, I'm very excited to see exactly what type of what would use homework that the side of imposters has used, because you never know. Maybe they unlock the tech and they just revived some demo from 2012 and they found an insane skill strength. You know what I'm saying? It's 9 people on the team. Somebody got to go ahead and take a lookie. But regardless of that fact, we are officially getting in to our actual dub. The game has started with a 1-minute warm-up time in Rogue. I didn't get the chance to ask you, so we've been talking a little bit about it, but what are your expectations about this game? What are your predictions, my brother?
Ooh, I saw the chat on you know, the prayers going in favor of the imposters who I think have an uphill battle. Honestly, I loved what I saw to Mr. Warabi last week. I'm gonna call 2-0 in favor of the Mr. Warabi Corporation.
2-0. Honestly, so yeah, I was gonna play devil's advocate, but I'm gonna be with you, man. I'm gonna be with you along that line too. And you know, some other bets going on about this game. But regardless, we're just gonna have to see how it goes, bro. And you know what? You take the honors, man. You go ahead and let us know what's happening.
Will do. All right, yeah, we got the pretty standard setup here for the defense, giving up A. For anyone not familiar, you know, the B defense is just so strong that, yeah, you want to have a really nice long hold here. And so the offense grabs that one real quick, nice and easy. Nothing much to be shown elsewhere. So they're not going for the fast, like, level 3 play through E. So I think might be the first, well, real death of the run anyway. Deleted Tater, Spanish Inquisition here, working their way to clear the backside with Pre-Alpha on the bonk. So Pre-Alpha sort of eating this damage, trying to shove Poi off the high ground, does get the heavy out. Now Wise and Untamed get sort of free reign to spam down from this upper area.
Yeah, with that being said too, it looks like they're, you know, especially with Steel, you kind of just have to do, at this point, take your time trying to see, ooh, with a little Uber exchange coming out from this side, possibly using it first, but it's going to be more in favor of the side of Corporation, with the Aimbo and Sync losing their lives within that Uber exchange as well. Went ahead and tried to get out the way, but with the likes of Steel isn't something, I mean, it definitely can be high octane, do not get me wrong, but Steel is definitely one of those maps where you have to work with your team. You have to try to sync things up just about every other kind of play that you can do. It's not kind of the same case where if you have nice momentum, you can kind of carry it. Ooh, but Wellmark getting picked up by Aimbo, but Boy, Buzz, and Co. getting all these mixed in the stairs, killing 7 with Untamed and Ben being the only 2 people left alive. Untamed at 70 HP, but while still being healed by Ben, Alright That Line kept his life. But yeah, it still is one of those maps where you have to kind of be working in tandem with one another. Otherwise, it's pretty much just going to be a domino effect every time you try to push Rogue. So I'm really excited to see what to expect, especially because we got another Uber exchange coming out here pretty soon too.
Yeah, hell yeah. We now actually Poi trying to shove them off the high ground with this Uber now. Oh, it's so much stronger from Vandir. They lose the gun and they lose their heavy. They milk the Uber, which is great. But right now Tazim is taking these pot shots out main. Does get shoved back. The late Tater's down on half HP up on balcony, but does take out the teleporter. That means it's going to be a lot harder for Poi to get back.
Awesome did get the pick on Wellmart as well, as we are seeing Starfruit and Pre-Alpha with a gun up on the E point trying to attempt the E. Oh, and I thought he killed himself with a fish. Still with a gun. Actually, the gun is dead, as we are seeing 2 Dr. Wise and Pre-Alpha getting some early cap time onto the E point. Flu Walrus calls that out early, tries to get himself in position as well, as we are starting to see some of the likes of, we're starting to see some people from the side of Corporation make their way towards E, get them off, and putting themselves in the position to where the Uber does come out. We are seeing Imposters about to get Uber here. If everyone can stay alive, Uber does come out, but Flu Walrus with the pick on the team going behind. Excellent play from Flu Walrus with the player ad in favor of Corporation. But Sync, let that sink in, is letting it sink in on kills. Pre-Alpha and Co with a double. Ooh, my goodness. And we are seeing Ben still on the point, toss him. Solo capping the B point. A lot of good plays from both teammates going there. I thought Flu Walrus was going to try to get himself in position to try to get himself kills on E with somebody else, but instead, he went the detour, went all the way through A, got the pick on the Untamed to make their post fight a lot worse, but because they had to rotate, it's gonna be kind of swift. Now, Rogue, well, at that time though, is that something that's pretty average though, or is that something they could have done a little bit better?
Yeah, good shout. Yeah,
Oh,
we're fast one, nice one. Flew 4K. Oh my. Yeah,
my
fast 4K here with Wishbone. Welcome back, everyone, after our quick radio cast, like back in the good old days, before video games were invented, and yeah, people used to go outside and play real sports, but luckily we don't have to get a freaking sunburn anymore. Here we are inside. Right, so we got this full, not full, 20% ad for Ben. They're taking it real fast. Spanish Inquisition, this is what I love to see, right? Not quite a death ball if you're going down to 20 HP.
Fuzz? Oh, Fuzz lives through that whole thing. If that was an early bomb from Wise at that point, that could have been, oh wait, just as I say that, Dr. Wise from the Skimmer server with the pick on the Wellmart and the Fuzz with the Uber does come out, but it's going to be a player ad in favor of Imposters trying to lock out Dope, but Dope is going to go ahead and get out with his life. Fuzz and Walmart still on a 9-second spawn with the cap being in favor of Imposters. 4 minutes and 33 seconds, Rogue, as we see that, as well as we are starting to see Cabo go through the side of Death Hallway immediately onto D as well. So we say that we are trying to see a little bit of people from the side of Warabi peek out slow, instead of Poi getting the pick right off the Starfruit. Fuzz trying to peek Fuzz trying to peek that door with the lack of deleted Taters. The Poi taking a heavy fight with Tossum, trying to assist him as well. Ben gets picked out by Wellmart though. And they're still just going ahead and cap the D. We are still seeing the combo. They did go ahead and get the D cap as well, as we are seeing Untamed trying to lock out this door by himself. Is probably going to lose his life here, just as we say that too. Yeah, exactly is what's going to happen. Now all that's left is the E cap, as we start to see Imposter slowly but steadily put themselves in position on the E cap. Blue Ops with a nice pick on the Tossum as well. Headshot. Pre-Alpha getting picked up by Wellmart. Solid pick from Wellmart. Rogue. Time. Impeccable. They're moving a lot faster than I thought they were going to be. Dr. Wise with the...
The pit claims another. It hungers for more. They got still 30 out on Vandir here. Right now, there's the defensive sentry is not up, so this cap time feels so much freer that Uber does come out, and there goes Ben. Losing Ben so early, the rest of the offense crumbling here, falling apart at the seams. Brand Molvik has the sentry actually in lower here, so it's going to spam the point. Not too easy to spam it back out, sort of a desperate play here, but Vandir set up with the combo in lobby is the saving grace here. They can squeeze a lot of time out of the clock with a hold like this, because yeah, you can rotate to the cappers, you can control their, like, limit them from entering from this side of the map, and look at these stickies, each one doing 400 damage.
So, and it's just, oh my god, hey, I didn't know it was about to be a bar mitzvah in this game. I didn't know it was a Golden Corral buffet. all you can eat for the side of Warabi. But Rogue, my question to you: they had 5 minutes and 30. They had roughly about 5 minutes and 1 second after all 4 points before they went ahead and before another team fight happened. So I wanted to ask: is that a pretty stable time? Is that pretty average? Is that pretty normal? Because it looked like momentum was kind of nice, especially from B to C, C to D.
Yeah, I would say the B defense was actually decently long. I think what was it? Yeah, 3 minutes 4 seconds. Like that was a pretty long hold, but everything that followed was super fast. I love seeing this decisiveness out of the imposters, right? Like they kept making plays that are good but not great, but they full committed to them, and that's what's important. Even Uber's here on last. Here we go.
And we do see Uber. It looks like it's going to be a Pyro versus Pyro. Uber, who can Wellmark getting picked up by Tossum as well, and they do have the range. Tossum in the sky trying to, not even in the sky, on the ground trying to get the fix as soon as possible, with the majority of the side of imposters capping the E point, locking it down as much as they can. When we are trying to see a comeback, we are trying to see a refund, but Wise to the point, trying to deny, but Ben being caught in position right by the door. You can't stand right by that door. You can't do that, especially when they're trying to refight from that same door. That's not something we can do, Ben. But the side of imposters, deleted taters, and Starfu are keeping themselves alive, keeping themselves in this little upper corner. I forgot what this room is called. Who are also calling them out? With my building a gun as well. Oh my God, they're just trying to keep it at bay. Deleted taters and Starfu are still the only two people alive. What is happening? Gun is still going up. Average goes ahead, dies for that as well. Gun just immediately goes down. The side of imposters, the combo is immediately back as they continue to cap onto E. Untamed is trying to keep it back at bay as they are starting to make the rotation through lobby. Blue Ross goes ahead and dies by the lead taters there, now taking the refight just again with the Uber. Uber add addition, trying to go ahead and clip as many picks as possible. Boy is going to go ahead and get picked by Dr. Wise, and it is just an all-you-can-eat buffet for both teams. But the buffet, the prices, the deals, the damage is better for the side of imposters, where they had a much better post-fight. And we are starting to see the cap starting to play out just nice and slow for the side of imposters, Rogue, at 9 minutes and 32 seconds, dude.
Oh, yeah, you really felt like watching that whole last point play out. Pretty much the entire time, Warabi was on the back foot, right? They had Uber Desad, they had players down, they lost map advantages. But I think that's what's beautiful about teams that are like, yeah, that scrappier sort of like, I mentioned some maybe calls by Van Deer, right? Is like, ooh, we should lose this, but I can lose it slower by calling this heads up play. And they kept calling those over and over. So what should have been capped in, you know, maybe a minute and a half was actually capped in 3.5 minutes from going like D to E. So yeah, I love what I saw. But also out of the imposters, like they're really focused, you know, they're saying like, let's just do this. And then they hard commit to it. And half the time it fails, half the time it works. But hey, you know, that's it. Enough to win around there, or at least to get all 5 points. So yeah, it's anyone's game at this point, even though 8:27 I would say is a pretty long time. So we're gonna have to see like one sort of, you know, maybe another god hold for, you know, 4+ minutes on one of these points.
What is the average? Is it like 5 minutes or 5-6-ish minutes usually for steal? If you have good momentum and you're pretty much just trying to carry it forward.
Yeah, average I would say maybe like 6.5. Yeah, but of course you have some games that are like 2 minutes, others that are like 14 minutes. So it's really all over the board. But yeah, I would say like 6.5 is good.
Pre-Alpha did get a nice little kill onto Fuzz with the Force of Nature. Brought onto the A point. Trying to delay, but I mean there were still some people going to be lethal point. So it is what it, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is at that point in time. But what I am excited to see is 8 minutes on the clock. Do we see the likes of Warabi Corporation, W Corporation, that's what I'm gonna call them. Excellent alias, W Corporation. We see him try to A to E. I thought they were gonna try to A to E. You see Blue Ross and Blue Ross and Sowala and Brand Movic are making their way towards the side of A to E point. This could be a contender of us seeing the immediate A to E, as we are still seeing the combo as well. They do know about Flu. It looks like Pre-Alpha does know about Flu's presence. Aimbo also getting himself in position as well, trying to get as much information. Wait a second, hold up. This is a teleporter? Oh, this is a sentry. A sentry being built in Death Hallway. Interesting. Interesting play. Interesting thing right here. Listen, I'm just looking at the back line a little too much. But, you know, listen, it's stuff like that. I'm trying to see with the exit also going to Death Hallway with the combo exchange. I mean, with Starfruit getting picked up by Blue Ross as well before getting headshot by Tossum. Ooh, excellent play. Ooh, as Ben and Sink almost just got air blasted into another Death Hallway with Tossum losing his... Tossum! Okay. You're nasty. You're nasty. I see why they call you AA. Automatic aim, okay? With fire and flames on your body. Everybody. That was nuts. That was fire. Oh my God, bro. Oh my god.
Oh, what an exchange, and also a real heads-up play out pre-alpha to clear out Brand Volvic in the back with that level 3 sentry. That play is like you want to lock up their exit, right? But right now, actually, sorry, I spoke too soon. They lost Storm for 66 real early. No sentry going to speak of. These better spawns for the offense, like, yeah, it doesn't matter we're down numbers, doesn't matter we're uber disad. We could just strong arm you out this point here, and they get bitten. Fuzz chasing all the way through here. That would have been in Wishbone. And grabbing Ben, even Brand Molvik setting up a sentry through lower. They're taking Wishbone hard and fast here, letting the offense basically choose their own adventure here. Like, what are you feeling for whether you're going to get C right away or not?
Bruh, I just saw Saint not air blast toss him. He was on fire. That was wild. But momentum. This is the speed. This is the speed you gotta have when you're on steel. You gotta be fast and efficient, and especially with that little cheeky little exit and death hallway. I can't believe no one checked that out. But you know, are a lot of people actively thinking about it? It tells me no, the way that they kind of just utilize that thing. But regardless of that fact, we are starting to see him make some movements on the C, immediately onto D through Death Hallway. We are seeing the majority of the combo. I see Power Day did use the Uber a little early out through Death Hallway to see if they can try to clear everybody out on the E point, as we are currently just seeing the gun and the dispenser and Starfruit himself. I don't know what he died in the pit. Okay, understandable. And it's not even a fight at D. We see little picks left and right, but it's gonna be player after the side of W company. And Thompson getting the pick on the whale mark yet again, and they're cleaning up on the average as well, but it's still player ad for the side of W Corporation, but Poi finishing off Tossum. Pause, not like that, as we are starting to see W Corporation immediately onto the E point, trying to go ahead and get this cap. We are seeing a little likes of their demo, Van Deer and co, trying to go ahead and cap it. Rogue, this may be fan if Imposters can't get the goal to refight, especially with Ben at 18 HP too.
Dude, what a big difference. So we saw when Imposters got D and almost full wipe the enemy team, they all stacked on E just to get ×8. Here we see something completely the opposite. The W Corp is split across the entire map. Fuzz is holding connector. We have players on, like Brand Molvik is on D. Oh, these exchange on last. Yeah, see, they just like, the offense can peek anywhere and everywhere all at once. That's a good idea for a movie, I think. But now we have the ×6 on point when the rest of the crew's down. What a masterclass here. Yeah, that's what you're looking for if you're trying to get E. Like, split across the map, call where the defense is going, and play around it. Don't just group up on point, you know, let the defense paint a picture with how they're kind of structuring their defense. So, yeah, I love what we saw out of the, you know, Imposters offense here, but the W Corp has a lot to say here by playing fast and doing all the right things along the way.
You know, it was looking a little scary, you know, but guarantee when I saw the 8 minutes, I said, oh, it's gonna be like that. I do think at least for the side of Imposters, from we saw before I even start yapping, pull up these logs. That's what I need to do. See exactly what kind of damage I'm looking at. What kind of damage oh my great googly moogly. Oh my. Oh yeah, this is looking like Hell's Kitchen, and Fuzz is Gordon Ramsay right now. Oh my goodness. 622 DPM with 6 deaths. Outstanding.
Woo!
Outstanding damage. Only taking 300. Outstanding damage. Next to Untamed with the 381 toss and followed by the 306. And what's interesting is that you know, what's the most interesting stat line you can see? I see about 2 or 3 that I see that are like the most interesting stat lines right now. Or like the most, like, they pop out of your face kind of stat line right now.
Yeah, I love that call, like you mentioned. Just Fuzz's stat line is insane, and also getting basically double the damage of Untamed with like fewer deaths, more frags, everything. They both got almost the exact same number of heals, like 4,400 heals each, same percent from each medic. So like, you know, doing more or doing twice as much, basically twice as many kills, twice as many damage, half as few deaths. That's an amazing stat line out of Fuzz. Super well played. Tazum, I think, is looking pretty nice here too, going 14-7, basically like tied for 3rd frag on the server, and you know, again, to be on the back foot and still fragging out like that is a lot to be said. But I think like Starfruit 66 deaths, actually, the engineer, like the defensive engineer deaths, like losing your engineer once on defense, like on B, is bad. Losing them twice is like, oh, our the clock we're up against here is not looking pretty. So I think basically on like engineer on defense, you have to be so conservative with your life. That yeah, like if you mess up once, it's not that bad. Mess up twice, and we're out of the round completely. So that one stands out to me. What about you?
Man, I'm looking at Walmart. I said that's my boy. Looking at the Walmart 4-9. That's not my goat. That's not my goat. He is my goat. But it's team diff. It's team diff. His team's baiting him. He's baiting him. They're not buffing, bro. He needs buff. No, regardless though. I think a lot of times what's really interesting to me, or at least one of the most, I guess, in my opinion, I guess the most interesting stat line when I look at these logs to me is the most interesting. It's kind of dang. I guess it's really like cleanup killers. So I look at people like I'm looking at like average, and I'm looking at like pre-alpha, and I'm just kind of looking at like what kind of cleanup kills are they kind of getting amongst their spread. So like Roar, for example, it's like for average, it's been all across the board in terms of his kills. Mostly combo players and a little bit of flank, but it's really interesting to kind of see. That's like what I like to see when I'm watching Steel. Is like what players are being cleaned up in a lot of pivotal moments. Like Flu, in every situation I think he's about to do something, he actually just changes it and he's like, nah, I'm not gonna make the obvious play, I'm gonna make the bigger play with my team. So like when they were trying to do the refight on B, and he just got that really nice pivotal pick that killed Untamed, and that made the post fight for the Imposters just a lot worse. Stuff like that is what I really like to see on a map like Steel, where everything is kind of just so congested and busy that you just kind of look around and you're like, oh my god, I don't. But regardless of that, it's just kind of stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. Here we go. Round number 2 in this best of 3 rounds. But yeah, man, Flu is going crazy with it. It's one of those things where like if the plays keep feeling good, it's because of the spies doing so well. Yeah, Flu is already up there with my MVP candidates for this one. But yeah, here we go. So is there anything you're looking for basically out of the Imposters to kind of shore up their defense? Anything you want to see different now that we're getting ready for B?
The one thing I'm seeing is that they're soldier types. Ink went to grad school for 6 years to learn how to feed. I'm dead. Oh, what I'm looking for besides the first pick from Walmart on the Tossum, I'm looking for confidence. I'm looking for a lot more confidence. I feel like a lot of plays that they've got, they weren't they were taking their time and being slow. But if they just were a lot more confident in a lot of these transitions, oh my goodness, they could definitely have converted some kills into their favor with Blue Walls and Average getting picked off by Aimbo and Wise from what I saw. But that's kind of what I'm looking a lot more from Imposters. It's very, very possible, but to be able to make it possible, you have to trust your team, and it just kind of feels like when we talked about last week, it just kind of feels like there's still some players being kind of selfish instead of selfless. With Tossum getting picked again by Walmart as well, right out of that doorway, and it's just looking kind of drastic as Boy, Buzz, Average, Bandier coming right through the door, getting picks, getting damage, getting player ads. Blue Wall's trying to gun down Taters. Exactly what's gonna happen. That's what I'm talking right there, bro. Right there is what I'm talking about. You got confidence. You peek out, you demo. He takes the high ground, and everyone else just floods through that door. I don't care if I'm looking at 7 people. I'm not the only one looking at 7 people. Speaking of one and done from Tossum, right on the fuzz, right out the spawn. But that's the kind of stuff I want to see. You got to play confidently. You got to trust your team. And if you ain't going to do that, then you're looking at L's. You're looking at constant L's, bro.
Yeah, and this, like, look at this play of, the W Corp here. They're so focused. Like, at first they're like, it's a different call to call, like, everyone focused gun. No, they're like, all 9 of us care about nothing but the sentry gun. They got it. And then they're going for these dry commits together. Here's, like, look at the super exchange. 5 players fly out, including the sniper. Like, they're all swinging wide, swinging together. Everything you want to see out of a team who's playing to win here. Immediately flying forward. Wait a second. What a play out of Dope. Getting that flash finally. Like Vandir really trusting his teammates. They were so much better for the offense, and what a reflect.
A nice little replay from Let That Sink In before getting killed by Poi. As we are starting to see the side of Let That Sink In. Inquisition Imposters trying to refight. Poi, very low help, but Vandir doing a great job of keeping his people alive. But Aimbo and Co. Aimbo being the hit scan cleanup is right there to clean up. Vandir losing his life as well. Average getting a pick on the Aimbo as well. Average is still alive, looking for a kill, looking for the thrill, trying to see if he can get this pen kill, and he does. The thrill. He no longer is he Average. Now he's the standard. With the pick onto Ben, making everything last man standing, making him the man standing with that pick. You feel me? Oh my goodness.
And that one really opens up the round here for him. So right now, Brandon Molvik actually setting up the sentry in lower is so sneaky, right? So if anyone on defense over peaks, they're going to get maybe blasted into the pit by this level 3 sentry gun. So right now, the rest of defense kind of bunkered down here in heaven, here in jail, whatever you like to call it. Giving up D for free, it's a solid play, I think, for the defense. It's like we really need to make a name for ourselves. We're going to have a great hold on E rather than an okay one on D and get caught on the back foot. Starting off real quick with a nice pick from Tazum on the Whale Mart. So Untamed and Ben holding them off here. And in D, the guardrails come up, but right now there's no way Fuzzy's getting close.
And you know, yeah, it's going to be a little hard to kind of bridge this gap. Actually, just as I said, they had Uber. Bridge, it's not hard at all. It may be a little difficult with the gun now. Hold up, we are showing Wise and Co. just kind of put the cleanup potatoes. Battalion's back up, Lozano coming out. A little bit of cap pressure from the side of average, and they're just cleaning everybody up in this tiny congested room. They're like Mucinex. They just clear out the whole system. Oh my goodness. Everyone there is just one little pivot point, and Fuzz, being the demo, is eating good. He's eating so good. Oh my gosh, it's like the ghost menu from In-N-Out Burger. Everything's good except the Flying Dutchman. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it is sometimes. But we have to see Imposter, the likes of him. Oh, free alpha and Amo go ahead and get picked up as well with a 13. Oh, wait a second. Does that say 13 minutes, bro? I say 13 minutes.
Ooh,
I'm looking at the wrong one.
Be,
I'm looking at the wrong one. Excuse me. 4 minutes. Oops. I said there's no way that was 13 minutes. There's no way.
Time flies when you're having fun, but not that fast. Yeah, so that was such a tough one at the Imposters at the end. Like, so basically, all you need to do is stand your ground there by having your pyro die for contesting the Uber with the air blast. But we saw Dope like corner sink there. Yeah, I got sunk into the corner here. Just kind of pushed away basically too early in that push. So when the rest of the defense backed up to try and hide, like the offense is like, great, we'll just keep coming forward, eliminate everyone. And a very fast time. Yeah, 4:28 is like almost everything you could hope for the vitamin push going A, B, C, D, E in a row.
It's, and you know, at the start, I kind of asked you, you know, what are some plays that Imposters should do, or what are some kind of plays that we should see out of Imposters if they want to put themselves on the board? And it's just really interesting that one of them you said death ball, and I just find that refreshing, but also interesting that we see W Corporation just take the initiative to be like, oh, you want to see some death balling? I bet we'll do it, and that pretty much just got them through brute force like a majority of these points. But regardless of that fact, Imposters have to push within 4 minutes and 30 something, now 5 seconds, if they want to go ahead and try to put themselves on the board again with let that sink in. Getting picked off by Sawala, got the teleporter though, did what he had to do, had to get his man. We see Free Alpha try to go ahead and get some information as well at this point in time, trying to see Blue Waters. Blue actually on A, with Tossum getting picked off right in the tunnel by Whale Mart. Going with the Uber exchange as well, but it looks like the Uber exchange is actually going to be better for the side of W Corporation. Aimbo are going to be the only person that dies within that as well. No one else just loses their life, but we're looking at 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Confidence has to come today. You gotta play confident. Like you go into a bar, you about to ask out that one person that's at the bar. You gotta be like, hey, shorty, what's your name, little mama? What's up? I see that from the costume, but as we are starting to see that, we are seeing like a little bit of E-capture from Pre-Alpha, just trying to bring some people back if he can. He's going to be the only solo dolo on the E-capture as well, with Fluar's taking some hot shots. Aimbo trying to put himself in position as well to help his mans. Oh, but it's just a little scout 1v1. Aimbo is now here to try to help his mans. Who trying to put himself in position to get the kill on the average as well. Going straight back to the combo. We are starting to see some people trying to make some good plays. Boy gets picked up by Tossum as well, and we're starting to see a little bit of confidence coming out of Imposters. They do have player, but the gun is still up for the side of W Corporation. Uber does come out. They do have to use Uber. Brand Movic does go down, but it is going to be pivotal for the side of W Corporation. They have the Uber. They're going to get the player at. They can absolutely play the post if they keep people alive to stop this point. Ben does get picked up by Sawala. Solid pick from Sawala. Now the Uber ad is indefinite for the side of W Corporation. They are going to keep the Uber, and Uber does come out. They look like they want to go ahead and try to refight. Toss him. Nice pick on the dope, with Flu getting the counter pick on him to save, get his man, get the counter. And the leader taters stayed alive during the hold that. But Flu is so smart. And keeps his posture, keeps his positioning alive. Oh my goodness. How did he get out? 007, James Bond, Blue Auras. As we are starting to see the likes of Imposters, where Mark does go down. We are starting to see him slowly but steadily even make it to the deep. Oh, wait a second. Just to say that, they actually are committing to the E point. After we say that, but Untamed gets picked. He did not close out the door. You did not lock out the door. But player ad is still in favor of Imposters, but that player ad is looking, that player ad is not looking to be true, as we are seeing picks left and right. But they do have fast response. That is something to consider. In this case, Untamed back up in the stealing sentry spot again before getting bombed by Sawala, who's going ahead, making it rain, making it, bringing pain. Absolute Shinra Tese with Brand Movic at the bottom. Run up, trying to keep these people from not even capping E with a minute and 17 seconds on the clock. Bro, this thing looks like that time, bro. If they don't go ahead and put it in the overdrive, bro.
Yeah, wait, this little like fortress up here in heaven finally goes down. Starfruit 66 had so much going for them there. Honestly, the play I think that lets Inquisition, the Imposters team back in the game here was if Deleted Taters cleared that sentry out lower. Brain Molvik, when it was level 1, Deleted Taters can clear it pre-alpha, and Sync get to keep capping. That's sort of their only chance in the round. Right now, I think you need like to cap in 33 seconds, you need something like ×8 or something like that. So this is feeling a little more like that time. Untamed flying in, trying to do what they can. Sync and pre-alpha here, getting cap time on point, whatever they get. But now that you're losing your point cappers, everyone who can close that distance, it's looking bleak.
Now at this point, now we're just basically looking at kills. The match has turned into DM with 20 seconds left onto the clock. I mean, listen, regardless of that fact, we did see some good gameplay. We did see a little bit of good plays, but at the end of the day, it doesn't seem like we are seeing the likes of Imposters close out this game. We actually see W Corporation carry that in, making that an official 0-2 big rogue. Oh my goodness! Just as we predicted to. Just as we predicted to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, as everything always works out here. The caster's blessing here. As we stated, so it shall be. Reading off the RGL script here for the season. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm gonna check out some of the logs here. I mean, yeah, that's a very nice duo from Mr. Warabi Corporation. They came into this match strong, and I think showed us why they're such a solid contender. Like this team, after again those roster changes they had now a couple weeks ago, they're like sitting pretty, I think, for the rest of the season playing out. I want to just double check sort of the invite standings overall. I mean, we'll have to wait until all the match scores come in after tonight. But Mr. Warabi is now sitting positive, basically. Let me see. They are 4-2 in their overall. Oh, wait, did the score already come through? I think that might have been it. Yeah, there we go. Because it's only been 5 weeks so far. Yep. So right now they're 3-2, so they're positive. I mean, you know, basically if you land in the upper half of these teams, you're in playoffs. So I would love to see them set themselves up here for a solid playoffs run, especially with double elimination. But yeah, I'm super happy with what I saw out of them so far.
Yeah, like I said, I was seeing some good plays. I was seeing some good stuff come out from the side of Imposters, but what I was not seeing is a lot of that confidence that you and I kind of talked about beforehand, or just them. They just need to play a little bit more together. It just like literally there were so many times where had they all just pounced, it would have been flush, royal flush, poker game type ish. But regardless of that fact, you know it was a bad thing. You know, that point there was some stuff that still need to be coordinated on a little bit more, but W Corporation was just playing that dominantly. Damage was just being tossed in every single play, and even though in the first half we weren't seeing like some crazy high octane until probably the last moment before the cap, but we were still seeing some plays that really kind of worked for each team respectively, which I really do appreciate. But regardless of that fact, it is still going to be the winnings of W Corporation, as they, especially, dude, Vander only died, what, like twice in that second half overall? Vander only died,
right.
like, Vander only died twice and a half overall, with the healing just being about healing difference being less than nine ish in terms of how between him and Ben. So healing damn near similar, but it's really interesting to see both teams still play respectively to how they would play typically in like an AD defense or just like any map, regardless howsoever. It was really exciting. It was really exciting. I very much appreciated seeing how both teams kind of played this game.
Yeah, I mean, we saw everything from like the hero plays to the all-in commitments to the like super choreographed plays, right? Like maybe let's take Mr. Warabi. We saw them pushing out B, and we saw them all in for the gun, and then respawn, all in for upper balcony, and then respawn, and then all in shove through main and our tank are heavy. All of those plays, like again, it's like all 9 players on the exact same page, orchestrated so perfectly. Then they cap D and like almost wipe the defense. They suddenly split off everywhere, right? We have an engineer on D, scout and soldier in Death Hallway. We have our demo man in Wishbone. We have our pyro on cap. We have our medic on like one of the random bridges, like near lobby or something. So basically on the offense, they split up everywhere and said just basically find them, call where they come from. Let's just shove every door, make it really hard for them to get anywhere near the point, and that'll give us plenty of time to adjust, right? So in that case, again, from Mr. Warabi, we saw them like work together as a team. Everyone, like all 9 players on that death ball, we saw them split off and say every man for themselves. Like, you have one job, and your job is to tell all the rest of us what to do in response to what you're seeing. So like we really saw them run the whole playbook, basically throw the whole book at the imposters here, and boy, they executed, as you could tell from the scoreline, huh?
Now, yeah, which is, I mean, yeah, they very much executed that extremely well, and I think it's going to be really, really interesting to see how. I think it's just going to be interesting to see how W Corporation kind of carries themselves out as the season extends. Because what maps are left? It's Asheville and Swiftwater. I'm pretty sure for the next 2 weeks in terms of like the regular season.
Yes.
So it's gonna be really. It's gonna be. Oof. That's what I'm excited for. I'm excited for them Swiftwater gameplays to see some nasty work kind of go around left and right. But however it happens, man. However it happens, it was still a good game between both of these two teams. They both of them were still playing, but W Corporation just handled that. They just were able to execute everything almost to a T. So it was nice overall. But with that being said, Rogue. Oh, actually, Rogue. One thing I didn't look at. One thing I didn't look at, Rogue, is Gumi and Chubbs Daniel lost to Squirtier. Steal.
But I saw chat on that one. I'm like, no way. I had to go pull up the match page, and that's correct. Yeah, 2-1 from Squirtier over Gooman Chubbs Daniel. That is a scoreline we did not anticipate. Even here, let me see. It's looks like Nova is mentioning that like Squirtier was scrimmaging against the imposters, getting like 12-minute offenses to then winning against Chubbs. That's a glow up for sure.
Oh, wait, I didn't. Whoa, what the? Oh. Yeah, I'm gonna look at that demo later with some boys. You know how it go. But Rogue, that being said, that's been tonight's game. That W Corporation dubbed it out. So as usual, do you have any sort of shout out of any kind, my guy?
Oh, but yeah, gotta shout out Dolphin. What a great run of show. Makes our job so easy to just basically show up. And there's so much effort behind the scenes, so always a big thanks there. Yeah, cheers to you, Jamon. I'm having a blast as always, and I'm so happy to what I'm seeing out of the Mr. Warabi Corporation. So I'll give a shout out, not just as winners, but like for what you've built together and where you're headed. You got an uphill battle against Squirtier now with that. Squirtier is 4-1 in the season, so it's going to be tough to pull them out of the playoffs contention, basically. But with all that being said, I'm very much excited what Mr. Warabi's got for us the rest of the season. How about for you, Jamon?
I love seeing Poi play. You know, I'm gonna be real. I always thought I was like, dang, I don't know who Poi is. I always see him in Twitch chat though. I thought he was a Twitch chat main, but seeing him play, especially like this with an ugly heavy set, I'm here for it. But shout out Dolphin on production as well. You Rogue for being here to cast with me. I really appreciate this, especially because we do it, every Monday. You know how it is. Big shout out to Chalk. Love Chalk, my guy, and Leaf. You're a rat. I know. I'm gonna let that out there for you, Leaf. You a rat. But regardless of that, that's been RGL for tonight. Tune in next week, next Monday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, unless someone changes that thing. But you know how it is. It's been us. Have a good one. Good night.